Hello, everybody. Miss Debbie here. It's nice to see you again. Thank you for spending your evening with me here at the library. We are open, so please do come by. You can browse through our new books and take home something different and a craft. The crafts are out in the hallway. You'd be surprised. Your library is still a lot of fun. So, tonight is bedtime stories, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you this evening? I'm fine. I go to bed early, even if it's still light out. I don't know. I always liked Lily White's Party. I take a book to bed and I read a little bit, and that's what I invite you to do tonight for our pajama story time. Maybe you can, set up your iPad and watch this from your bed. I hope you do. It's pretty cozy just to settle down. All right, let's do Thumpkin. Everyone loves Thumpkin. Where is Thumpkin? Where is Thumpkin? Here I am. Here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Pointer? Where is Pointer? Here I am. Here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Tall Lady? Where is Tall Lady? Here I am. Here I am. How are you today, ma'am? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Ringman? Where is Ringman? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Pinky? Where is Pinky? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, dude? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Oh, let's, this is called lacing your fingers together like this. And then you're going to push them away. That's a nice little stretch for your wrists that get tight. Let's do that again. Ooh, you could round your back a little bit. Oh, gosh. Loosen up your shoulders so you can get ready. Get ready to hug that pillow, right? Warm up your hands. Get that energy going. Feels good on your face, right? Or send that energy out. So our first book today is a very, very, very famous book, which I want you to know about. It's called Make Way for Ducklings by Robert McCluskey. So it's a famous book because it won a gold medal for its illustrations. And it's a true story of how ducklings behave. So roll back into your pillow and enjoy this story. Make way for ducklings. A duckling is a little duck, by the way. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard were looking for a place to live, but every time Mr. Mallard saw what looked like a nice place, Mrs. Mallard said it was no good. There were sure to be foxes in the woods or turtles in the water, and she was not going to raise a family where there might be foxes or turtles. So they flew on and on. If you go to a local pond, you'll likely see mallards. When they got to Boston, they felt too tired to fly any further. There was a nice pond in the public garden with a little island on it. The very place to spend the night, quacked Mr. Mallard, so down they flapped. And there they are, flying down to the little island. Next morning, they fished for their breakfast in the mud at the bottom of the pond, but they didn't find much. Just as they were getting ready to start on their way, a strange, enormous bird came by. It was pushing a boat full of people, and there was a man sitting on its back. "Good morning," quacked Mr. Mallard, being polite. The big bird was too proud to answer, but the people on the boat threw peanuts into the water, so the mallards followed them all around the pond and got another breakfast better than the first. So this is like a pleasure boat that's taking people on the water just for fun. Nice, relaxing pastime. And the big the big swan in the back is artificial, and it probably hides all the controls of the boat, and that's where he's the driver of the boat. But what does a mallard know? "I like this place," said Mrs. Mallard as they climbed out onto the bank and waddled along. "Why don't we build a nest and raise our ducklings right in this pond? There are no foxes and no turtles, and the people feed us peanuts. What could be better?" "Good," said Mr. Mallard, delighted that at last Mrs. Mallard had found a place that suited her. But look at as they're walking in, they're stepping into the road there. "Look out," squawked Mrs. Mallard, all of a dip. "You'll get run over." And when she got her breath, she added, "This is no place for babies with all those horrid things rushing about. We'll have to look somewhere else. Not fun getting run over by a bicycle." No. So they flew over Beacon Hill and round the State House, but there was no place there. They looked in Louisburg Square, but there was no water to swim in. Then they flew over the Charles River. "This is better," quacked Mr. Mallard. "That island looks like a nice quiet place, and it's only a little way from the public garden." "Yes," said Mrs. Mallard, remembering the peanuts. "That looks like just the right place to hatch ducklings." So they chose a cozy spot among the bushes near the water and settled down to build their nest. And only just in time, for now they were beginning to molt. All their old wing feathers started to drop out, and they would not be able to fly again until the new ones grew in. But of course they could swim, and one day they swam over to the park on the riverbank, and there they met a policeman called Michael. Michael fed them peanuts, and after that the mallards called on Michael every day. After Mrs. Mallard had laid 8 eggs in the nest, she couldn't go visit Michael anymore because she had to sit on the eggs to keep them warm. She moved off the nest only to get a drink of water or to have her lunch or to count the eggs and make sure they were still all there. One day, Mr. Mallard decided, let's see, did I miss a page? Oh, one day the ducklings hatched out. First came Jack, then Cack, then Lack, then Mack and Knack, and Ooack, and Pack and Quack. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard were bursting with pride. It was a great responsibility taking care of so many ducklings, and it kept them very busy. One day, Mr. Mallard decided he'd like to take a trip to see what the rest of the river was like further on. So off he set. "I'll meet you in a week in the public garden," he quacked over his shoulder. "Take good care of the ducklings." "Don't worry," said Mrs. Mallard. "I know all about bringing up children." And she did. She taught them how to swim and dive. She taught them to walk in a line, to come when they were called, and to keep a safe distance from bikes and scooters and other things with wheels. When at last she felt perfectly satisfied with them, she said one morning, "Come along, children, follow me." Before you could wink an eyelash, Jack, Cack, Lack, Mack, Knack, Ooack, Pack, and Quack fell into line, just as they had been taught. Mrs. Mallard led the way into the water, and they swam behind her to the opposite bank. Then they waded ashore and waddled along until they came to the highway. Mrs. Mallard stepped out to cross the road. Honk, honk went the horns of the speeding cars. Quack went Mrs. Mallard as she tumbled back again. Quack, 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 quack went Jack, Lack, Cat, Mack, Knack, Ooack, Pack, and Quack, just as loud as their little quackers could quack. The cars kept speeding by and honking, and Mrs. Mallard and the ducklings kept right on quack, quack, quacking. And ducks do that. They won't let up quacking. They'll keep at it. They made such a noise that Michael came running, waving his arms and blowing his whistle. He planted himself in the center of the road, raised one hand to stop traffic, and then beckoned with the other, the way policemen do, for Mrs. Mallard to cross over. As soon as Mrs. Mallard and the ducklings were safe on the other side and on their way down Mount Vernon Street, Michael rushed back to his police booth. He called Clancy at headquarters and said, "There's a family of ducks walking down the street." Clancy said, "Family of what?" "Ducks," yelled Michael. "Send a police car, quick." Meanwhile, Mrs. Mallard had reached the corner bookshop and turned onto Charles Street with Jack, Cack, Lack, Mack, Knack, Ooack, Pack, and Quack all marching in line behind her. Everyone stared. An old lady from Beacon Hill said, "Isn't it amazing?" And the man who swept the streets said, "Well, now, ain't that nice?" And when Mrs. Mallard heard them, she was so proud she tipped her nose in the air and walked along with an extra swing in her waddle. When they came to the corner of Beacon Street, there was the police car with 4 policemen that Clancy had sent from headquarters. The policemen held back the traffic so Mrs. Mallard and the ducklings could march across the street. Right into the public garden. Inside the gate, they all turned around to say thank you to the policeman. The policeman smiled and waved goodbye. When they reached the pond and swam across to the little island, there was Mr. Mallard waiting for them, just as he had promised. The ducklings liked the new island so much that they decided to live there. All day long they follow the swan boats and eat peanuts. And when night falls, they swim to their little island and go to sleep. The end. Isn't that a sweet story? So It's a true story, and I hope that sometime in your life you'll get to see ducklings that follow their mother in a straight line to wherever they're going. I saw it once at a pool. It was a pool in Morristown, and on one side of the pool, say this is the pool, and the mother duck jumped in the pool. The pool was in the way, and she swam across, and the little ducklings hopped in one at a time and swam across and followed the mother. But when it came to getting out of the pool, it was too high for the ducklings to jump up. And they were still in their straight line. I think the mother flapped her arms and got up. So all the people, the swimmers in the pool, kind of helped the little ducks up. And then, sure enough, there they went wherever they were going, into the woods or to the backyard, in their straight line. It was the most remarkable thing I'd ever seen, and it was the one and only time I'd ever seen ducks do that. So you must make way for ducklings. They're going to follow their path and do what they do best. So let's sing Skidamarink. It's our happy I love you song. Skidamarink a dink a dink, skidamarink a doo. I love you. Skidamarink a dink a dink, skidamarink a doo. I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening and underneath the moon. Oh, skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. Cha-cha-cha. I love you. Sign language. I still haven't been practicing my I love you sign language anywhere. I forget. I get busy. Adults get busy, you know. So my next book is called Three Ducks Went Wandering. And this is written by Ron Roy. And when Ron Roy stopped writing picture books, he started writing chapter books for kids. And you will like what he writes. He writes the A through Z mysteries and the capital mysteries and the calendar mysteries. He's a very good writer and a very good mystery writer if you like A through Z mysteries. But this is a picture book by Ron Roy. And it's illustrated by Paul Galdone. He's illustrated a lot of books by famous writers. So he became very famous himself. Three Ducks Went Wandering. One fine day, three little ducks wandered away from their mother's nest. They waddled right past the barn and across the field, right in front of a big, angry bull. "What are those three ducks doing in my field?" said the bull. "I'll teach them a lesson." With a snort, the bull lowered his head and charged at the ducks. Can you snort? It's kind of like you make it through your nose. Yeah, bull snorts. That means you get out of the way. "Look," said the first little duck. "Grasshoppers," said the second little duck. "Let's get them," said the third little duck. So they scrambled under the fence to get at the grasshoppers, and the bull crashed right into the fence. Crash. The three little ducks gobbled up the grasshoppers and then went wandering on through the woods, right in front of a den of hungry foxes. "Look at those ducks walking down our path," said Mother Fox. "Let's have them for our lunch," said Father Fox. "Yes, yes," said the little foxes. So they all ran after the ducks. "Look," said the first little duck. "A pond," said the second little duck. "Let's go swimming," said the third little duck. So the three of them swam out into the cool water. and all the foxes stayed on the shore, for they did not like to get wet. The three ducks had a lovely long swim. Then they paddled to the other side of the pond, right under a hawk soaring in the sky. "Look at those fat little ducks down there," said the hawk. "I'll eat one right now and take the other two home to my children." With a slap of her wings, the hawk zoomed down, down, down toward the ducks. "Look," said the first little duck. "Lots of bugs," said the second little duck. "Let's get them," said the third little duck. So they dove down to the bottom. And the hawk flew away hungry. The three ducks had a yummy lunch and then waddled ashore to lie in the sun right in front of a long, shiny, slithery snake. "Look at those three ducks lying in the sun," said the snake. "I'll eat one for lunch, and one for supper, and one for breakfast tomorrow." "Look," said the first little duck. "Butterflies," said the second little duck. "Let's get them," said the third little duck. The ducks leaped into the air after the butterflies, and the snake tied itself in knots. By now the three ducks were very tired, so they wandered back to the barnyard again, right in front of their mother. "Here are my three darling ducks," she said. "You look ready for a nap." So Mother Duck spread her wings over her children, and the three little ducks went right to sleep. Isn't that sweet? If you look around in the springtime, I don't know if you'll see ducks, if you'll see ducklings, but you might see kittens chasing butterflies. And again, it's the most wonderful thing to see a brand new kitten exploring their spring world and chasing the bumblebees and chasing the butterflies. It's something you'll never, never forget. So I have a song for you, and you can sing along if you know it. It's called Five Little Ducks. Five little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 but only four little ducks came back. Four little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 but only three little ducks came back. Three little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 but only two little ducks came back. Two little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 but only one little duck came back. One little duck went out to play over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 but none of her five little ducks came back. Sad Mother Duck went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck called quack, 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 and all of her five little ducks came back. The end. I love that. That song makes me cry. So, let's get ready for Lily White's party. Like I said, I like to snuggle in bed early. I get up early, I don't know why, but I have a lot to do. So do you. You have a busy day. And then by the end of the day, I have my supper, and then it's just like, I'm ready to snuggle, hear a good story, think good thoughts. and just get ready for bed. So, what do we do to get ready for bed? This is the way we wash our face, wash our face, wash our face. This is the way we wash our face before we go to bed. This is the way we brush our teeth, brush our teeth, brush our teeth. This is the way we brush our teeth before we go to bed. This is the way we comb our hair, comb our hair, comb our hair. This is the way we comb our hair before we go to bed. This is the way we blow a kiss, blow a kiss, blow a kiss. This is the way we blow a kiss before we go to bed. I'll bet mommy or daddy give you a kiss on the forehead, pull the blankets up to your chin, and says nighty night and gives you a kiss on the forehead. Maybe on the nose. It's a good way to tuck in. Well, we do have another story. Another old-fashioned story called Angus and the Ducks. And I love this book. And I don't think you'll find it in the library because look at this. This book has fallen apart. So I keep it home so I can tell the story sometimes. Angus and the Ducks, told and pictured by Marjorie Flack. Once there was a very young little dog whose name was Angus, because his mother and his father came from Scotland. Although the rest of Angus was quite small, his head was very large, and so were his feet. Angus was curious about many places and many things. He was curious about what lived under the sofa and in dark corners, and who was the little dog in the mirror? It was him. He was curious about things which come apart and those things which don't come apart, such as slippers and gentlemen's suspenders and things like that. Angus was also curious about things outdoors, but he could not find out much about them because of a leash. Do you see the cat up there? The leash was fastened at one end to the collar around his neck and at the other end to somebody else. But Angus was most curious of all about a noise which came from the other side of the large green hedge at the end of the garden. Do you see the green hedge? And what's on the other side? The noise usually sounded like this: quack, quack, quackity, quack. But sometimes it sounded like quackity, 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 quack. One day, the door between outdoors and indoors was left open by mistake, and out went Angus without the leash or somebody else. Down the path he ran until he came to the large green hedge at the end of the garden. He tried to go around it, but it was much too long. He tried to go over it, but it was much too high. So Angus went under the green hedge and came out on the other side. There, directly in front of him, were two white ducks, and they were marching forward, 1 foot up and 1 foot down, 1 foot up and 1 foot down. Quack, quack, quackity, quack, 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 quackity, quack. And Angus said, "Woof!" Away went the ducks, all of a flutter. Quackity, 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 quackity. Angus followed after. Soon the ducks stopped by a watering trough under a mulberry tree. Angus stopped too. Each duck dipped a yellow bill into the cool, clear water. Boo, Angus watched. Each duck took a long drink of the cool, clear water. Still, Angus watched. So when they dip their bill into the water, and then they tilt their head all the way up so the water goes down their throat. Still, Angus watched. Each duck took another long drink of cool, clear water, and then Angus said, "Woof!" Away the ducks scuttled, and quackity, quackity, quack. Angus lapped the cool, clear water. Birds sang in the mulberry tree. The sun made patterns through the leaves over the grass. And the ducks talked together. Quack, 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 quack. And then, hiss! They stuck their long necks out and their beaks were slightly open and they went hiss! And the first duck nipped Angus's tail. Hiss! And the second duck flapped his wings. Hiss! And Angus scrambled under the long, large green hedge and scurried up the little path and scampered into the house and crawled under the sofa. And for exactly 3 minutes by the clock, Angus was not curious about anything at all. He got himself a little scare. Isn't that cute? Okay, so go hippity hop to bed. I'd rather stay up instead. When mother says must, there's nothing but just. Go hippity hop to bed. So here's my good night song for you. And thank you for having me for story time tonight. And I'll see you next week. And maybe someday we'll see you outside. You know, nighttime, pajama time. That could be fun. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Good night. Sweet dreams. I wish you sweet dreams and a wonderful day tomorrow. Be well. Sleep tight.